All right, I'm quickly cutting across to Prime Minister Modi in Dhaka there. He is meeting with the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Hasina, and now just addresses an audience right there.
Establishment of a framework of cooperation in the area of trade remedial measures between Bangladesh and India.
Here's the Prime Minister Modi in Dhaka. Prime Minister has just met with Hasina, another meeting. This is the second day. In fact, this is the second visit while India and Bangladesh strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries via this visit. This is the 50th liberation celebration for Bangladesh. In fact, India and Bangladesh both celebrating 50 years of diplomatic ties.
Finally, I would like to request His Excellency Vikram Kumar Doraiswamy, High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, and Mr. Mohammad Mahmood Hussain, Secretary, Secondary and Higher Education Division, Ministry of Education of Bangladesh, to kindly exchange another tripartite MOU on establishment of sports facilities at Rajshahi College Field and surrounding areas on behalf of the respective governments. I have the honor to announce that the Department of Relations Division also present here and to witness the exchange as a signatory of the MOU. Thank you, Excellency.
Here is Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Bangladesh.
We conclude our instruments exchange ceremony.
This is the second day in Dhaka. In fact, India and Bangladesh come out with 5 agreements to strengthen and bolster bilateral ties between the two countries. 5 agreements have now been concluded between the two countries. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi right now sitting right beside the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Yes, Prime Minister Modi's visit to Bangladesh as India and Bangladesh now come out with 5 agreements to strengthen bilateral ties. In fact, the 5 pacts related to the health sector, the railways and connectivity trade. This is the pact between the two countries. The agreements have now just been signed. These are live visuals coming in from Dhaka, Bangladesh.
The Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh may kindly accept the representational.
There you have it. Prime Minister handing over a symbol of agreement to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh.
Distinguished guests, as part of the COVID-related cooperation between both the countries, the Government of India is gifting 1.2 million doses.
There you have it, 109 ambulances that India has gifted to Bangladesh, and that was the key that Prime Minister Narendra Modi just handed over as a symbolic gesture to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Remember, 5 pacts have been signed between the two countries, including in the health sector, in fact, infrastructure, railways, connectivity, trade. Prime Minister Modi there right now with Sheikh Hasina. They're in talks. Here we're looking at the two leaders expected to discuss a wide range of issues and bilateral mutual interests, and 5 agreements have now been concluded on. Modi, who's going to be, in fact, he's right now in Bangladesh. This is his first trip out of the country right after the coronavirus outbreak. And substantive discussions were held with Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh there, following the two sides inking agreements, a range of agreements there, covering a number of areas of bilateral cooperation. The two leaders are also likely to make new announcements of cooperation in areas of culture, preservation of spirit 1971, health, railways, education, border development, power cooperation, and even some startups as well. All that discussed, and here are symbolic gestures exchanged by two sides, only strengthening the bilateral ties between the two countries. In fact, this is the 50th year celebration of bilateral ties between India and Bangladesh, and this is also, it comes at a time when Bangladesh itself is celebrating 50 years of liberation from East Pakistan. In fact, Bangladesh and India have been favorable neighbors. Prime Minister Modi has time and again said India's neighbor-first policy always holds Bangladesh with great esteem. Here, Prime Minister Modi also further went on to say that India's partnership with Bangladesh is an important pillar of our neighborhood-first policy, and that India has committed to further deepen and diversify this relationship. He also says that India will further on continue to support Bangladesh's remarkable development, the journey under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's dynamic leadership. This is exactly what Prime Minister had tweeted right ahead of his visit on Thursday. Live visuals coming in from Dhaka with Prime Minister Narendra Modi sharing the same dais alongside his counterpart, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina.
The Indian soldiers and Veer Mukti Yoddha fought together to liberate Bangladesh from the reign of terror.
The martyrs of India and Bangladesh, who fought together in 1971, are blessing us from the heaven.
Thank you, Excellencies. Next, inauguration of the extended development work at Robindra Bhavan Puthibari in Shilaidaho, Kushtia. To do the honor, I request two honorable Prime Ministers to kindly press the button to jointly unveil the e-flag. Thank you, Excellencies. Now, groundbreaking ceremony for infrastructure development for power evacuation facilities of Rupur Nuclear Power Plant. Both the Honorable Prime Ministers may kindly press the button to jointly unveil the e-flag.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi sharing the same stage with his counterpart there, Sheikh Hasina. In fact, Prime Minister Modi is there to celebrate liberation of Bangladesh, 50 years of liberation of Bangladesh from East Pakistan. In fact, Bangladesh celebrating a very special event that they are celebrating yesterday and today. Prime Minister Modi has come as the guest of honor. He is part of this celebration that Bangladesh is now liberated from East Pakistan, and it's 50 successful years. In fact, it's not just a gesture as being the guest of honor for this celebration in Bangladesh. Prime Minister Modi took this opportunity to also sign 5 agreements between the two countries, all linked to the health sector, the railways, connectivity, trade. These are pacts that the two countries have inked, and Prime Minister Modi has said India's neighborhood policy, Bangladesh indeed has received some great cooperation on both ends, in fact, and India and Bangladesh together have celebrated at least 50 years of bilateral ties, successful one. Geeta Mohan is right there in Dhaka, giving us exactly what's happening on ground. Geeta, do take us through the visuals that we see here. Quite many symbolic gestures between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. He just gave her a key to the 110 ambulances that India has gifted to Bangladesh. And what are the other bilateral pacts that they've just concluded upon?
Well, the event is just underway, and what we are seeing is the virtual inauguration of the passenger train service, the joint stamp that has been released commemorating the 100 years of Mujib Barsho, also the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Liberation War, And now we're also looking at visuals. There are videos that they're playing out of India-Bangladesh ties and the strengthening of the ties in the past 5 to 6 years. We've seen a lot that has really come off the.
Right. I'm going to quickly cut back to you. Here we're looking at some visuals coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi currently in Dhaka, and here's a meeting between the Prime Minister as well as his counterpart Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, where they're of course cherishing the presence of Prime Minister Modi. 5 pacts between the two countries have now just been concluded, all connected to health, railways, connectivity, trade. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has gifted over 100 ambulances to Bangladesh as well. This is Prime Minister's first visit to a foreign country right after the pandemic. In fact, the pandemic-induced lockdown over the last year and more. The Prime Minister has so far not travelled outside. This is the first tour that he's taken to a foreign country to strengthen bilateral ties with Bangladesh. The timing also that needs to be noted. We're looking at West Bengal that's started off its first phase of polling today. At a time like this, Prime Minister Modi is in Bangladesh there. He's also met with people from the Matua community. He visited temples there, also promised schools for them in the areas, that clearly striking the right chord with the Matua community right ahead of polls in West Bengal. Apart from that, the kind of reception that Prime Minister Modi has received indeed was quite special there, considering Sheikh Hasina and all the bureaucrats, the officials in Bangladesh gave a grand reception while Prime Minister Modi arrived. He's also toured extensively, visited several temples there. In fact, India and Bangladesh successfully complete 50 years of bilateral ties. This is in fact the celebration here where Prime Minister Modi is a guest of honor, is basically 50 years of Bangladesh's war of liberation. In fact, they have successfully completed 50 years after being liberated from Pakistan, East Pakistan. In fact, Prime Minister Modi, this is the first visit to Bangladesh since 2015. And here we're looking at several pacts that the Prime Minister has signed. This is currently underway even as we speak. Several agreements related to the health sector, railways, border infrastructure development, and even startups that the two countries now coming down to a pact. In fact, Prime Minister Modi, apart from holding bilateral consultations with Sheikh Hasina there, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, he's also called on Bangladesh President MD Abdul Hamid, is also scheduled to visit in fact, just a little while ago, he's visited a few temples there in Dhaka. This has sent out a huge message politically and even bilaterally. Here we're looking at reactions coming in from India. Foreign Secretary Harichand has said very clearly that this visit will be of very special significance and will serve to highlight the celebration of our unique and special ties between the two countries, which reinforce our comprehensive strategic partnership with Bangladesh. This is what Harichand, Foreign Secretary, has said very clearly, almost aiming at bolstering the ties between the two countries at a time when we're also seeing elections in West Bengal. The timing of this visit has also come, as in fact has also been noted, considering that he's also appealing to the Matua community right there. A huge Matua community in West Bengal, currently comprising of at least 17% of the vote base in West Bengal. The Prime Minister Modi has met with them, the community members, several temples that he's visited right there, apart from, of course, being part of this grand liberation celebration with the Prime Minister herself, Sheikh Hasina. In fact, right now, even as we speak, visuals coming in of pacts being finalized between the two countries, agreements that they've signed on related to health and infrastructure.